Live streaming is on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's the sons and daughters of Liberty, doing the second Holy Service link and get things situated. Make sure the audio is good. Been a little while. Alright, my audio seems to be coming in low. Alright, that should do it. Probably not going to be the loudest anyway because I'm still not feeling it all. My jaw's still still swelled around through here. It actually hurts to have the headphones on right now. And my lip node up through here, all the way up to my ear. It hurts to eat. I could talk a little bit today without it actually hurting. Doctor, I can't get into the doctor tomorrow, but they did tell me if I still had the swelling, not to go into work tonight. And they also wanted me to finish out the prescriptions that they had me on for the ear infection, sinus infection, and the upper respiratory infection. I just haven't been able to catch a break here lately with my health. It seems like I get over one thing, or don't get over one thing, and I've just been putting too many hours in at work. So I did. I haven't given my body a chance to heal. Hopefully this is going to be our last week of overtime anyway, not that it matters, because I'm missing the overtime by not going in tonight, so. That's why I really haven't been doing too many podcasts, because I haven't been feeling well. With all the hours and finally got up to be in this up and down climate weather we're having right now. I mean, it's sleeting and snowing yesterday. Today it's been almost 60, so I'll just be glad for warm weather to set in so I can get out and about, get some exercise that I haven't gotten, fresh air, get some hiking in, fishing. But, I've had a lot of things I've wanted to talk about over the past several weeks. It's just, I just truthfully have not felt like being on here. And it reminds me, I need to share books. Definitely shows you how out of it I've been. Sorry about that, guys. It's been a while, and pretty much I've done things for the last few podcasts I've done actually done from my phone, so. That's never good. Trying to turn down that fast. Yeah, I was gonna make an attempt Friday to get a live stream going, but the medication, the antibiotics they had me on it, it didn't work. Plus, my jaw was so swelled up. And the last daily commute I tried got disconnected at the hour mark, which sucked, but not much you can do there. I know sometimes the minds does with their app, sometimes it cuts you off. Only allows you to do an hour at a time. Sometimes you can do 4 or 5 hour, 8 hour streams. So, but that was from the app on the phone, so I'm not sure. But they say gas prices still haven't gone down. Prices of food at the grocery store still hasn't gone down. In fact, the grocery store prices keep going up. It really hurts me after this work when you don't have no vacation time. It's just like I'm not getting ahead, which makes me want to do the overtime more and more because I need it just to catch up. And if I'm in that situation, I can only imagine what a family's going through right now. For the most part, I'm just supporting myself right now. But it is what it is. Nothing we can really do to change it. Well, there is. Primaries are coming up. It's more important now than ever that people take time, study your candidates, do your research on your candidates and your primaries. That's where we can make the biggest difference. At the state level, federal level, get these people out that just want to continue to send billions of dollars to foreign countries, and we got our major problems here. We got a president that needs to be removed from office. He's incapable of doing his job. If you haven't figured that out by now, look at the sanctions that he did. The sanctions didn't hurt Russia. In fact, it didn't even hurt the ruble. In fact, the sanctions helped them. Who did it hurt? The citizens of the United States. You people out there. Hurt every single one of us. By poor management. Somebody that can't even form a coherent sentence. But we have people that can form coherent sentences, and what do? Nothing. They rush these bills right straight to the president No, here's all this money. The very politicians that you guys have continuously voted into office repeatedly. Some of these have made a lifelong career out of it, and made millions of dollars while in office on a salary that doesn't add up. Whether it be through insider trading on investments, taking money from lobbyists, which is illegal. But, if they don't get caught, nobody says anything. None's the wiser, right? That don't happen. Bullshit. We got a Congress that'll elect a Supreme Court justice who's by far questionable at the least. But obviously, if you're a sex offender, child molester, whatever you want to title that sick thing that happens, was so lenient on him, that's my characterization should never be setting on our highest seat of our Supreme Court justice. But, it's like I said, the status quo. There's only been one justice to ever not be approved, have their nominations approved by Congress. And it was my direct descendant, John Rutledge. He set in as an appointed justice by George Washington because his nomination was a for sure shoo-in. But he had character. He had morals. He stood up for the things he believed in. And what he stood up for at that time was the Treaty with Britain. A treaty that we did not pay off until Clinton took office in the late 90s, the mid 90s. But because he took that stance, because, the way our founding fathers decided to do things, which was the right way to do things, because even my founding father spoke about it too, to set an example. If you are in this country and want to we consider you an American, they allow the Loyalist Party to have representation, to get elected into Congress. So therefore, we've been dealing with the Loyalists, those loyal to the crown, from that time to this day and age. It hasn't changed. I mean, I can go through, show you history of where Britain has interfered in conflicts that we've been in to suit their needs. They were involved in a civil war, even though they weren't. As they'd build these ships that were merchant ships, but they would then they send these ships over to the Caribbean to be outfitted with weapons. But loophole, they never got figured out or caught, basically, until later on in history, as history unveiled itself and they found out. Britain's never been our friend. They've never been our ally. They hold the longest grudge ever. We did the unthinkable. We took our independence from them. But because of my forefather's stance on that treaty, he was labeled a Jeffersonian. And to this date, he was the only Supreme Court justice nominee not to be elected by Congress. Ever since then, it's been the status quo. Whoever the president puts in, no matter what side of the party it is, they will make sure they're elected. And that is BS. Especially when you put somebody in that. I mean, really? Is the Democratic Party that sick? And some of our Republicans that sick? Because there were some that voted yay for the justice, supporting that. her rulings on pedophilia, sex offenders, the leniency that she gave them is okay. Nowhere in any situation is that okay. Nowhere in any situation do I agree with what's going on today in this age when it comes to our kids, our children, your children. Being influenced with crap they should not be even being taught in schools. But yet here we are. It's okay. You guys want to elect these same people in office that's setting these rules, creating these laws? You want to keep electing these school board members into these school board members' positions that are allowing this to happen? Right now, we have probably the biggest advantage to make change. And it starts with our primaries. It starts getting rid of these people with these sick morals, these sick ideas, these sick philosophies out of office permanently. I don't care, red, blue, gray, black, I don't care the label. I'm sick of the label game. This person is an elected official. We are their representatives. They're supposed to represent us. If they're not doing what we do, they're not following the morals and values we have, we should not be electing them in. We should not allow them to even survive a primary. We should be looking for those that uphold those that have shown through action. Actions speak louder than words. Fuck what they say. Because all that comes out of their mouth is a silver tongue of lies and deceit. Promises that they break the first chance they get. And they come crawling back every 2 years, re-spewing the lies, thinking that you guys forgot. Because you have forgotten, because you're so bombarded with propaganda. You're so bombarded with what's going over in Ukraine. Fuck what's going over in Ukraine. That don't affect us. We should mind our own damn business and focus on the core issues that's happening right here in the United States. Our founding fathers would have never tolerated this, not one bit. Our founding fathers would not have tolerated the mockery of our system today. But yet, many of us are descendants of our founding fathers, and we turn a blind eye. Everybody caught the picture of the thumbnail for the video? What Albert Einstein said is very true. It will not be the evil person that destroys this world. And I shall read you the direct quote. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. We watch the politicians time and time again lie to us. We watch these politicians break their oaths of office. We have allowed presidents in the past to make changes to propagandize and weaponize our media. We have a systemic cancer that is flowing through our country, and no one's stopping it. No one's batting an eye. We've watched, if you haven't been paying attention, we've watched NASCAR and other sporting events that you guys might watch. Do donations for Ukraine. What about all these tornadoes and weather phenomena that's happening here in the United States that's caused devastation? People's lost their homes. What about the crisis that we're having right now at the gas stations, the grocery stores? People not making it from check to check. Where's the aid for them? Why does these sporting venues care more about another country? That, mind you, is not aligned with NATO. Let's get that crystal clear. So therefore, we have no business dealing with anything with them, because NATO's rejected them once already. They're not a NATO country. Then, do we want to go down the rabbit hole? Well, it's not even a rabbit hole. It's been confirmed. We have a president that's sitting in office and maybe tied to criminal ties with dealings in Ukraine and China due to his son and the shared bank account that they have, the laptop that they said, oh, that's fake news. Well, come to find out, it's not so fake news now, is it? So now we have potential of a elected official, a president, susceptible to blackmail. Corruption. Nobody's screaming about that. We don't see Congress making a big deal about that. But heaven forbid that was Trump in office. There'd be Russiagate all over again, which turned out to be false. And there is now lawsuits going on about that. But now we have a Democratic-controlled Congress. We have a Democratic president. Doesn't matter. We have Republicans that are being silent on the matter. They're just as guilty. In fact, they were just as guilty being silent while Trump was. They all need removed. There's no ands, if, buts about it. They're in a single good one. I don't care what their name is and what their label is. What have they done today to stop it? Nothing. Yes, there might be a couple in there that's voiced some things, came out with some truths. Hey, whoever has the control of the House, when things are being voted, it's the majority always win on their bills. Come to find out, there might be only 10 people sitting in there while these bills are being voted on. Whereas the rest of the Congress that we've elected to sit in those seats and make sure they read the damn bill and vote on the damn bill. Oh, no. Majority has it. Yays win, nays lose. And it doesn't matter which side's in office. It's been happening with both. So they're all just as guilty. Don't want to hear it. But yet we re-elect them. Then we cry and complain when we can't afford our groceries. We can't afford the gas at the pump. Well, quit whining and crying and do something about it. Get out there, vote in your goddamn primaries, put the people that belong in office that have the same values that you have, and get rid of these idiots that don't, that rather give a foreign country your money when it's needed here, that would rather line their pockets, get rich while they're in office, which should never happen. They don't represent you. Find somebody that does. Do your due diligence and research them. Make sure everything that comes out of their mouth, everything they said they have done, is backed by action. They've voted the way they say they have. They've taken the stances the way they say they have. Their actions speak louder than their mouths. Quit listening to their mouths and start doing your due diligence. A set of lips will say anything. You know, I think we learned our lesson going through what we went through with the so-called mandates, which I think we got lucky on that one. You know, the COVID. But yet, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had the president come out. We don't have money for if we get new variants of COVID to get vaccines. Well, you would have had money if you didn't send billions of dollars to Ukraine. Just saying. But nobody calls him out on that. Don't look to your media outlets because they're not going to call him out on that. They're paid propaganda. Every single last one of them, including Fox News. They are paid propaganda. They adhere to their labels and their parties, and they don't stray from it. No, I enjoyed the break. No, I enjoyed the break. It's not so much a break. All the other time, I don't have time to spend on Twitter and all these other sites that I'm normally, Tell you what, it's been refreshing. But at the same time, I realize somebody has to do it. Somebody's got to come on here, even when they're not feeling good, and spark a fire under your guys' asses. I can't be the only one that's sick of what they're seeing. And don't get me wrong, we have seen some positive things. We've seen constitutional carry get passed now in 26 states. We've seen this sickening thing that's happening in our schools that, a label wants to change the name of the bill and say, oh, you're bashing gays. It has nothing to do with gays. It has to do with protecting our children's innocence. These certain things should not be taught in schools. That is something that should be taught in the home, that the parents should be teaching them. Not the schools. Not of some pedophile teachers, because we know the history on that one that's been just been overlooked over the years because nothing's been mainstream on it. But I can take you back about 5 years, 6 years ago, and it was rampant. It seemed like every time you turned around, you were seeing a post about a teacher molesting a child, raping a child, or a sex offender allowing to be a teacher. Sickening. Then the party lines come in. I mean, let's look at the last 2 years of rioting and tension. Once I got away with it, the other side, oh no, they've been drugged through the ashes. Luckily, Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty. Even though his name was drugged through the mud, he was a murderer, no. The insurrection, January 6th. Got a nice win earlier last week, at the end of last week. Judge ruling, no. Why? Because the police let them in. But let's not overshadow them. There were some people there that did illegal shit, and they deserve to be tried for it. But a bunch of other people, and the people that are being held without due diligence, without their having their rights violated, without due process, where's the outrage on that? Where's people screaming for due process, due justice? Another big win. Case in Michigan. Guys that were supposedly going to kidnap the governor. Not guilty. But yet these were all the things that was propagandized in the media, propagandized by party lines, lied about. When the truth finally comes out, oh wait, we're too caught up in Ukraine. Most people don't even know it happened. Those people are, oh, Russia's doing this, Putin's doing this. Fuck what Putin's doing. Who cares? I'd be more worried about what China's doing. There's our problem. Actually, China's become the world's problem because they've done it to every country and every nation. But yet, every country and every nation seems to turn a blind eye. You know, I hear people talking, oh yeah, we're going to have a red wave. Well, a red wave don't mean shit. We're electing the same people back in the office. We're going to have the same song and dance and nothing gets done. And 4 years, 2 years from now, guess what? We're going to have a blue wave. Why? Because we elected the same people that don't do nothing. And let me tell you this. Action speaks louder than words. Go do your research on your favorite politicians that you keep re-electing in office to become career politicians. What have they done for you? Nothing. I'll tell you what they've done for you. They made it so you can't afford to go to the grocery store and feed your family. They made it so you can't afford to travel back and forth to work every week because you're spending over $100 in gas or more. Prices are going to continue going up when semi-drivers are paying over $1,000, $1,060 to fill up their tank of diesel. In some cases, more. Imagine all those runs we get from the east to west coast. Imagine how quickly those prices are going to jack because a trucker cannot afford to be spending thousands of dollars, $2,000, $3,000, as they get closer to the west coast, where gas prices are even higher. Common sense. That's what your politicians have done for you. That's what the ones that are in office have done for you. Actions speak louder than words. Go on government.org. Go see what Congress, go see what your elected representative of your states have voted on when it comes to these bills. Or not voted on in the case of, well, we got the majority, yeas win. They were never even present to vote. I know my founding father, James, or John Rutledge, would be rolling over in his fucking grave, screaming, how could you allow this to happen? I know, because I'm sure if he would have had the hindsight to see what has become the state of the country, our government that he helped found, the laws he helped write, he would have made some changes of where he went wrong. One, by making sure there was term limits on everyone. But in that time, history's history. Time periods are different. Population, we were a young country. We didn't have but 13 states, 14, 15, as we slowly grew. We had a small government. No one foreseeing that it'd get to what it was today. Some did, you had your Jeffersonians out there. Where's those Jeffersonians today? Where's the descendants of Thomas Jefferson? Why aren't they screaming out loud? I actually seen the funniest meme. I hope it was a meme. If it's not, it was probably the best campaign slogan of the year. Their campaign self-pitch, whoever's running against AOC. I gotta have my fun there. Because she just don't know when to shut up. But basically, help me send AOC back to being a bartender. Kind of catchy. Kind of priceless, actually, if you think about it, because it is funny. But it's not. I don't want to. I want to remind everybody. That's what it was meant. It was meant to no matter what your position was. And this is, unfortunately, AOC screwed the pooch and all this. She can't shut up. She's made her position a joke when she could have been so much more. Really could. The movement she had, the fact that she was young, the fact that she was an everyday citizen like you, working at a bar, bartending, being a barmaid, or a casting couch, however you want to go about it. Just saying. But she was an everyday person. Yeah. She screwed that up for the everyday person, right? But that's what it was supposed to be about. No matter what the office was, an everyday person, even a homeless bum on the streets that you keep overlooking, that needs help just as much as every one of us, that everybody's forgotten about. That's actually surviving probably better than most of us right now. Sadly. Had a chance to become an elected official, whether it be a mayor or a governor, a senator, even the president. That's what our founding fathers had envisioned. Not these rich, elite, sadistic psychopaths that we keep putting in office. The person out there that goes to work every day in a factory, comes home, and somehow still finds time to help their kids with their studies, or do yard work, spend time with his wife, even though he's tired, or she's tired. But yet they know what needs to happen. Common sense knows we need to stop the production of all these technical, electrical crap. I mean, I've seen a commercial for the new GMC Denali, hands-free. Well, as we found out with the Ford Bronco, many of the Broncos are still setting because they don't got chips. Same way with some other vehicles. We need to get away from that stuff. We need to get back to what works, what puts people into jobs, what starts booming our economy, not relying on foreign crap. Now, granted, there's been initiatives put aside to start making the diamonds here and the stuff we need to make the chips here. But that's how many years down the road before it's actually happening. Yes, we're going to get a little boom in the construction side of things. Wait, no, that's only going to go to certain people because, whoever greases whose palm the most will get the contract. And it's not the little guy who gets the contract. It's the already rich, elitist prick that gets the contract that don't deserve it. That'll cut corners and cut costs, buy cheap steel from China, not use American-made crap. They rather use good quality China's crap. And, well, we all know the story behind that. What's made in the United States has never been crap. I still got tools that has been passed down from my grandfather to my dad to me that was made in the 60s, 70s, that haven't broke. I go buy a new so-called made in America or made in China, it breaks. It doesn't even last a year. But that's design. They don't want you buying stuff that's going to last your lifetime, your children's lifetime, and your grandchildren's lifetime. They want you to replace it within a year. They don't want you to have to be passing things down. They want you to buy new. We want you to get away from electricity. We want you to have all these battery-operated crap. Well, the batteries aren't good for the earth. But they don't talk about that in their little green pitch. They don't talk about the resources that goes into making this, how bad it really is, and how green it is not. But if you do your research, you'll find out. All these big wind turbines. Oh boy, those are a joke, let me tell you. And if you knew the resources that went into those, and if you knew how long they will not hold up, yeah, big joke. I'm all for finding new ways to better our environment. But the bottom line is you still need electricity. As long as you need electricity, you're going to need something to power. What happens to all these solar panels, all this solar crap, all these nice, lovely electronics we have in our car when we get a major EMP flare, a sun flare, a sunspot, like happened in the 50s. That's right, all that crap it's forced you to have means nothing because it won't work. Everybody questioned, nobody understood the push for the junkers for cash, the clunkers for cash that Obama was forcing down everybody's. Here, turn here. We'll give you a huge money back on taking your car in and junking it out, getting something new. We'll give you rebates. We'll give you refunds. We'll give you money. Yeah, it was a great deal. Steel prices went through the roof on junkyards. You were making good money. But nobody questioned why, because they want all the old stuff out, destroyed. So you were reliant on all this new crap. All this stuff that is part of their bigger agendas. There was laws put in place in many states. I thought, we came across the one in Ohio where combustion vehicles are banned from cities. They've never enforced it, but it's there. It is in the legislation. It is a law. It's just not being enforced yet. How many other states did the same thing under everybody's noses? Why? Because we don't have time to pay attention to what's going on in our state legislation all the time. We don't have time to pay attention to what Congress is doing. Why? Because we have to work. Otherwise, we can't put food on our table. We can't pay our bills. Well, I tell you what, right now many people are feeling it. Many people are worried how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to put food on their table, and put gas in their vehicle to make it back and forth to work. But yet our Congress, our president, can send billions of dollars to Ukraine. Our sports that we love, like NASCAR, basketball, baseball, they'll run their ads, here, donate this for the Ukraine fund. How is it when we have a natural disaster here in the United States, they don't do that for us? How is it that we raise less for us than we do any other country when they have an issue, when they have a natural disaster? How is that right? Well, you get these Hollywood whores, celebrities that are nothing more than prostitutes, who get on there and sell you a line because they're paid to promote this. They act like they care, but it's an act. They are actors. Just like our so-called news media, cable news networks. They're entertainment. They are actors. They are not news officials. They are weaponized propaganda as signed by Obama. Weaponized media. But yet, we need fact checkers. Every platform has their own fact checkers. But yet, they're not real fact checkers because they only go by the status quo of that platform. When people start looking into it, breaking it down, and they've gotten so good with it, I mean, they'll point out one little flaw, so therefore it's not factual. But yet, if you actually read the whole thing and read down, they actually saying it is factual. Just most people don't read the whole article, because who wants to read a long ass article when everything you got's right there? All the meat and bones is right there at the top, right? Negative. Read the whole thing. Research it. Find other sources. Don't take anything at face value. Question everything. Come up with your own opinion based on your research, your facts, not somebody else's. And if you really want to get down and dirty, follow the fucking money. Then you really see how dirty things are. Then you really see the difference between real science and paid science. It's even got so bad it's went clear down into the bellies of our medical fields. I remember when I had to take my sister, she was getting ready to have a procedure done to have stuff put in her back. And I remember sitting in the lobby while she's getting her little procedure done, listening to these doctors, which weren't even from the state. They were being bussed around to fill in because, it's COVID. And they were talking about it. Man, I even jumped in on the conversation. They would not let me record it, which I don't blame them because it cost them their job. But man, I wish I could have. I wish I had just turned the recorder on and not said anything, but I ain't like that. I don't really believe in that. So I have my little issues with James O'Keefe and how he does things. But actions speak louder than words. He brings results. It's like other people in the past have brought results by doing that. I just don't agree with the tactic, and I won't use it. Plus, there is laws in certain states. You can't secretly record a conversation without asking or getting permission. So it's always best to err on the side of caution on that. Just a little heads up. I personally don't agree with doing that. Ambush recording. I've never been a fan of it. But it works. Man, sometimes it is needed. It just goes back to the old saying, there is no rules of engagement in war. Yes, people say, we got the Geneva Convention, we got these. No, there is no rules of engagement. Because your enemy is not going to abide by the rules. Just like we could set all these rules and laws and legislation, we can remove guns from everybody's hands. And guess what? The bad guys will still have the guns. It ain't the good, honest people that abide by the laws that are committing the crimes, that are buying illegal weapons, that are taking money from a group of people to spew their propaganda even though they don't believe in it. No, that's the irony of the whole thing. We're never going to get away from that. Bad people are going to do bad things, and they're just going to do it. And no matter what laws and things you put in place, what restrictions, what you take away, they're still going to get it. History has proven that. Warfare has proven that you cannot have rules of engagement. Yes, let's not shoot the medics. They have the little medic symbol on their things. But yet it still happens. It is a war crime. But how often do they get drugged in front of a war tribunal? It's the illusion of a gentleman being gentlemen in warfare. Well, let's ask the British about how far being gentlemen got them. Because we did not, in the slightest, ever be gentlemen when it came to warfare. By any means necessary. That's the mentality you should have. Because what we're facing today is outrageous. And it just gets worse. You know, people say, okay, Elon Musk is now the highest shareholder of Twitter. What changes are going to happen? Well, Twitter already said you're not bringing Trump back. What's going to change? Well, if they won't bring Trump back or anybody else they suspended back, nothing's changed. So basically, Elon Musk tripled the money he invested because the stock prices went up because of his investment, and no changes occurred. Will there be some? Yes, I'm sure there will be some slight changes that don't affect anything really. Oh, we're gonna put an edit button. Well, wait, Twitter comes around and says, "We're never gonna do that." Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it. When people have been asking for an edit button since I've been on Twitter. You know, people say, "Let's go over here, go over here." We still keep playing that game. We go here, go here, go there. I quit playing that game a while ago. I'm happy where I'm at. It gets to the point where it's pointless running, jumping around. I'm happy with what I got. I'm happy with the subscribers I've got. Always been, have been. Clear back when it was only 20. Why? Because that's not what it's about. I don't need 1,000 subscribers. I don't need 100,000 subscribers. We put too much value on quantity instead of quality. Do I have one of the great quality podcasts? No. It's amateur. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with only having 80, I think, 2. It goes up and down. I have never broke 100, so. Why am I okay with that? Because I get to interact with my chat. You know, it's open to have a co-host, but the co-host is on the phone, and I didn't really go asking. So every time I go asking, everybody's busy. So plus, I also look at it this way: if I give you the link or the number to here, you got it. You can jump in on anytime it doesn't change. What does change? Hey, I change. We all change. We all grow. We all learn. As we learn and experience things, we change. We make changes. Sometimes our ideas and views and values will change as we experience new things. That's why, the biggest problem in this world today is judgment. We judge people by their labels. We judge people by their past. We judge people just because they have a different opinion. Instead of sitting down and listening to them, or, putting ourselves in their shoes and walking them around. We're too quick to judge. People look at me, oh, you got a small channel. You can't be saying anything good. It's okay. But the truth is, and I've done videos in the past, I'm not as small as you think I am. Because I am everywhere. And we know the statistics are BS here on YouTube. They're BS anywhere you go. I'll figure that out by paying attention and actually doing research, watching things. I've got a huge audience on the Mind. I've got a decent audience on Twitter, on Gab. Internet Archives, where I usually dump my stuff at the end, so it's there. Always will be the case. I get taken down here. And a few other places, several other places. So, I have no need to ask you to share or like. What's the point? It's just a number. It's just a ego. It's when you do that, you're stoking an ego. I don't care. If I want to stoke my ego, I'll stoke it for better purposes. And I've always had the philosophy and mindset. Whoever's meant to hear this video, they'll find it. And that's the truth. They'll be drawn to it. They'll find it on their own. I don't have to do nothing. And that's who it's meant for. And there's a plus side to this that I've figured out, found out. I'm going on, 6, maybe 7 years here on YouTube. Still standing, no strikes. No censorship issues. And boy, the things I talk about. But I'm a nobody on YouTube. I only got 82 subscribers. What a blessing. It allows me to skirt that. It allows me to still talk what I want to talk about. It allows me to interact with you guys in the chat when you come on. Except for when I'm doing the daily commute, because I don't have access to chat. If I did, I wanted because I'm driving. Usually, if I do it in the morning, I'm talking to try to stay awake. Hello, Bree.
And
Well, I can hear you. Maybe.
sorry I'm running late tonight. It's been a week.
Tell me. I already know.
What all did I miss? Had to be in the other room for a while.
I don't know what other my little rant about primaries.
Oh yeah, I had somebody show up on my door asking me if I was going to go primary in my state. And I said, it's none of your business.
Yeah, and that is true. I mean, I remember growing up. Man, I remember asking my grandpa, "What are you voting for?" He's like, "None of your damn business, son."
I then he's like, seriously, who you voting for? And I said, I'm voting for the Nunya party. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, none your damn business.
I mean, I grew up. Nobody talked about who they were voting for. It was nobody's business. In this day and age, it's everybody's business.
No, that's the perception that it is, but in reality, it really isn't any of their business. Although there's ways that they can publicly find out who you voted for ish.
Yeah.
Which I think is bullshit.
Well, there's a lot of things I think is bullshit that needs change. Question is, will we ever get to see that change? And I was like, I said, I hear everybody talk about the red wave. It don't mean shit if we elect the same people in office to keep lying to you in the first place. The same people that's currently in office that aren't screaming, impeach the president. who voted for. Wow, I don't. I'm trying not to even go there. I've touched on it, but, voted for somebody that's been so lenient on sex offenders and pedophiles as a Supreme Court justice. But I understand that there's only been sadly, one person to ever not be had their nomination approved. I just happen to be a direct descendant of that person. I already knew this was coming. I knew they'll get passed because it's.
Kind of funny how when we hit on sensitive topics, they pull this stuff.
No, this is the Jetsy app because it should be in my last by commute. It cut me out exactly at the hour mark. Remember, this has happened before.
Yeah.
You get to that hour mark and it cut you off. Really? I'll be right back. I'll be right back in the lighter.
Okay. I think if they're going to be doing things like what they're with the justices and whatnot, and they're going to go soft on crime, then they need to, if they're going to do going soft on certain things, then we need to go hard. I didn't feel a thing. We need to then start pushing harder for term limits across the board, so that at 20 years, if you've been in a position for 20 years, you finish out your term, and if you're in the middle of a legislative session or like in the Supreme Court situation, you finish out your that judicial season, and once that judicial session is over, your time is done, and then you become an alternate judge in a particular case. Like if you need a tie-breaking judge, or if another judge gets sick or has an unforeseen accident, then there is another judge in wait that has already been approved. So there is always 9 judges that have been sworn in so that there is a consistency there, and we don't have a where there's only 8 sitting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whoa, what was that clapping noise?
We got a peanut gallery.
Oh. You got a soundboard there.
Yeah, you gotta have some fun.
Yeah, smart ass. What'd you go and get?
Actually, I didn't get it because it's actually part of the app.
Oh.
On the mines. Yeah, where the little hand is.
Oh. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's crazy. On mine, it just says raise, lower your hand.
Oh, I'm the only one who can play it. Sound effects. Okay. Well, there's a little arrow above it.
Oh, wow. Hey, that's kind of neat. That is a trip.
Yeah, especially I need to have a little fun. God, is bad, man. My health's been up and down.
Yeah.
This is nothing serious. Well, I could hope it's nothing serious because I won't know tomorrow. They haven't figured out what's going on.
Yeah,
right now my lymph node's swelled, but it's not where everything's swollen is actually right above the jaw. on the jawline going up to my ear.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually on Sunday nights you're off to work by this time.
Only when we're on overtime. Yes, I was supposed to be at work tonight. I was told Friday because I can't get in until tomorrow that they wanted me to finish up my prescription for that ear infection, sinus infection, and they were hoping that it'd take the swelling down. I mean, the swelling went down significant today, but no, it still hurts to eat. It hurts to talk too. I'm joking.
No, that's why I said I felt bad that my call ran long, but
Alcohol's helping with that though.
I'll be the first to admit I had a slight oops on Tuesday. I fell. Is it bad when you start falling into a bottle of alcohol at 9 o'clock in the morning
No,
on a Tuesday?
shit. The way I felt, shit. I probably spent the whole week fucking drunk just not to feel the fucking pain in my jaw.
Yeah, but I really didn't have a physical reason other than I felt like shit. Um, and felt so totally off base and off balance. It was the only way that I could find balance was to crawl into the bottom of a bottle.
I don't need alcohol to help me with balance right now because the way my ears, the way that swelling goes into my ear, it's actually throwing off my balance. It's another reason why they told me not to go to work. It's like I need money, but yet the overtime in the 11-hour, 12-hour shifts is what's actually keeping me from recovering. Honestly, it's not. Yeah, and the worst part is I'm up there on points. I don't have no time, so I have to go to the doctors to get the doctor's notes to get excused from work. And it's just but there's a lot of things going on at work too that it's we're hurting. Everybody's hurting though, so we're hurting for people. We can't keep nobody.
Yeah, that seems to be a common theme.
It's been a common theme since COVID, so and it hasn't changed. If anything,
Oh,
it's actually I think it's gotten worse.
oh, I need to send you something. Copy. Where are you at? Let me see. Did you see this? I'm gonna send it to you through Twitter. It was from Ice Age. It was good. And this is something we really need to be paying attention to.
No, I actually haven't seen that one.
We really need to be paying attention to this. And I don't know if you have a way to um share that or not.
No, my share screen's still not working.
Um
I swear I'm gonna buy a fucking cat.
I have two new ones here.
Oh, that actually sounds a little bit bigger than a cat. Bigger than a mouse.
But that's something that we need to be paying attention to. The state of Minnesota killed 11 million birds.
I've also heard there's a big issue going on with chickens too.
That's what I'm talking about. Chickens. They killed
Yep.
11 million chickens in 2 days.
Well, is there something big going on in China right now? Not that I want to go there, but
There was a
I mean to the point where China's kind of locked down their people again.
yep. They, from what I have been able to gather, they have stated that they will unlock when they reach.
Bird flu dragon's dagger spell says. Thank you, dagger spells, and welcome.
Hey,
I'll be right
Dag.
back. I'm gonna go scare this little pesky mouse away.
Hey, Dags. Yeah, that's that H5N1. And that is something um to and I will put it uh H5N oh shit. H5N1. Um this is what um and I don't ordinarily plug other channels, but in this case, um, because this is very needed and necessary information. Um, that and this is from a very reliable source. Um, and you're gonna want to go back and watch the full length version of that video. Um, there was a lot of information that came out in that video. Um, Now, last year, in September, the person that was mentioned in that video had actually predicted that there would be a much bigger situation, but he also said that we needed to adapt and accept a meatless society. And once you know, just 60 days ago, there was a swine flu outbreak too. Do you remember that, Drew?
Um, I think I remember hearing something about it.
And there was also a mad cow disease.
I've heard about that one.
Um, and that hit particularly big in Iowa and out in Utah.
Well, I mean, it,
You cannot make this shit up.
no, you can't. That's the worst part of it.
Now,
I'm trying to. I want to. I'm gonna word this. I want to theoretically theorize. You know, I spoke tonight, spent quite frequently about propagandized warfare. There's no rules of engagement. There's no rules in war. We have a crisis on our hands. You know, we got prices going through the roof. Our inflation is stupid. Our inflation we don't even want to talk about because it'll just ruin everybody's Sunday. I don't want to ruin everybody's fun day. But the more and more you start seeing what's going on, especially with this current administration in office, it's to me what I'm seeing is the classic scorched earth tactic. They're going to burn it all down because they know they are royally screwed.
why let a good crisis go to waste?
Exactly. Why not build on that crisis? You know, and the worst part of this, I go back three or 4 weeks ago, Biden's talking about we don't have the funding for vaccines in case of our next pandemic, next variant of the COVID. They're not letting that crisis go to waste either. But yet, we sent billions of dollars to Ukraine. Well, if you want to send that over $1 billion to Ukraine, you'd have enough money to invest in the next bullshit variant. Made up variant, but why not? We got people where we want them. Let's keep it real. If I was an elitist, I've got you where I want you. If I was a sick psychopath, schizophrenic, evil son of a bitch, which I can be, because I can quite easily just think like them. Actually, I can probably think worse than they can, so we don't want to stoke the ego there and open up that can of worms, but I can, and I'm going to. Why not introduce something that affect our, whether it be true or not, affect our produce? Let's hit our poultry, because poultry is fairly cheap. Let's help jack the prices of that. Let's help jack the prices of our meat. It's already going to go up because farmers aren't going to be able to afford or have a hard time finding fertilizer because the price is going to skyrocket because most of our fertilizer comes from Russia. Thank you, Biden, for the sanctions. fucking us once again. Oh, truckers are now paying $1,060 to fill up their tank because diesel's going up that much, which is now going to affect the prices that we're going to pay at the grocery store. Honestly, whether it is or not, this has become a man-made, created crisis. And it has been. It is. It's not whether it is or not. It is. Because of sanctions that were put against Russia. Because of the current elected officials spending money on bullshit that has no business spent on, giving money to foreign countries that shouldn't be given, and running the debt sky high. They're not helping nobody else out. Oh, best part. Don't know how many figured this out when their taxes came around this year and they went to do their taxes. That last stimulus we got for 14. Yep, that came out of our pocket.
Yeah, I know that.
So, well, I'll tell you, I was supposed to get, from federal, I was supposed to get 1,900 and some change back. Oh, no, they had to take their fucking stimulus package that they gave me last year out of it. So, that wasn't given to you for free. You paid for it. And they sure as hell, Uncle Sam sure as hell came around and got it back. When we need it the most, they fuck you. The IRS should have been abolished a long time ago. The fact that I pay double taxes, I pay federal taxes and state taxes on everything I buy. So I'm paying taxes twice. Let's talk about taxation without representation. I should only be taxed. If I'm going to be taxed, I should only be taxed once. Then if you're going to give me something, I should not be taxed at all because you gave it to me. It is a gift. It's not acceptable to taxation. But no, they want to squeeze every penny out of it. And where does that money go? Well, it sure is not going to help any of the situations we're dealing with right now. It's not helping the fact that we can't afford to get our groceries, pay our bills, pay our rent, and put gas in our vehicle. It's not helping our truckers be able to afford a tank of diesel to be able to affordably go from point A to point B to bring these commodities to our stores, which is affecting the prices increase in stores. We're feeling it clear down to the very farmers when they start going to buy their fertilizer this spring to fertilize their farmlands because we don't produce it here in the United States. We, like everything else, we import it from another country. We buy it from another country instead of making the shit here, which we should be doing. No, everything's become so corporatized, corporate, rich, elitist fucks running this country and putting their boots on your necks saying, no, you have no right to make any of these products. We're going to send our companies overseas to make it and then import it back so we can not pay you guys here to make it. We can use slave labor from another country. Our whole system is screwed up, needs fixed. These people that's been in office for decades need removed. Changes need made. We need to stop relying on these rich corporations like Walmart, Amazon. Create our own, bring our mom and pop's businesses back. Stop buying shit from Ford that they're going to keep producing shit that's so electronic dependent on chips that half the production that they've made are sitting in parking lots right now, can't be going to the dealership because they need the chips. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to move the mic away from my face because it was causing backfeed for some fucking reason.
Like I'm yelling into the mic. Oh,
For whatever reason, and maybe my mic is. I turned my mic up just a hair.
Yeah, probably not a smart thing to do.
Um, it. I was doing something a couple, 2, 3 weeks ago, and I had my mic. Uh, I needed to turn my mic up for something, and apparently I didn't turn it back down.
Posted. What did I miss?
Oh, I posted around the robin.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But they back in September of last year, Billy he wrote a book and published a book about America's next pandemic. And I don't think a lot of people paid much attention about it, and now all of a sudden we have this situation coming, and it's all this shit's been ticker taped, and I don't think a lot of people paid much attention to it. I honestly don't think people paid no never mind at all to it. It's kind of spooky.
Well, I mean, the reason people don't pay, I don't want to say most people. There's a lot of people that actually start paying more and more attention. I don't want to cut any boat short out there. They're getting tired of it. They're sick and tired of it. They're starting to see things for what it really is, which has been what we needed for a long time. But you know, it's a little too late for that. But you know, better than never. So we'll go with that. Keep on a positive note. But the problem is the system is crushing us in. It's gotten to the point where everything's so propagandized right now. I mean, I hate turning on the TV. I hate turning on watching anything right now because it's all propaganda. It's all esoteric symbolism, mind control bullshit's going on right now. But most people are oblivious to it. They don't have that teaching. They don't know. And they're bombarded with it every day. They become so brainwashed to the crap that they're taking in that it's either they tune out, which is the best thing they could do, honestly. But it's got to the point, where do you focus at? We've talked about this in the past. It's always been like this. It's worse now than it's ever been. But where do you focus? You got so much stuff going on. They want you to care what's going over on Ukraine, what Russia's doing. Won't say boo about China. Won't say boo about a president we have in office could be potentially being blackmailed. Then we get caught up in our everyday things. You know, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to put gas in the tank and still put food on the table? They've got everybody where they want them. I mean, it's the form of control the worst way. It's oppressive control. We've got oppressors oppressing the masses. And not letting up. Every day it seems like it. If it ain't a crisis over in Ukraine, it's a crisis over here. You know, we're dealing with basically bird flu over with the chickens and stuff, poultry. So poultry is going to go up. We already seen soybean and meat skyrocket. And that's the problem. We're dependent on all this. We're very heavily dependent on our produce, our farmers. But who's going to be hurting more now than ever is going to be our farmers. Because they got to put diesel. They got to buy diesel for their tractors. That's not cheap. So they're going to feel it. Many farmers are probably going to go bankrupt before this year's up. Because they can't afford skyrocketed prices for fertilizer. They can't afford skyrocketing prices for diesel. Then if the The farmers are going belly under. It affects us because now we're paying for increased prices. So it is a man-made created problem. It's a man-made pandemic that's created by man. Created by our very own government. Created by these rich elitists that want to rule over you and treat you, you know, I mean, they're basically treating us worse than they treat their slaves. Keep it all the way for real. You know, that's why, you know, primaries are really, I agree. Primaries is where it's at right now. But it's not it's a Band-Aid. It really is. It's a Band-Aid. Because it's going to take multiple years. It's going to take at least a decade of us putting the right people in to actually bring this country back. Because we have allowed it to get that far. We've allowed the corruption to go that far. And these rich fucks, they only care about that money. Their egos can only focus on how much money they can make. And they will make it at all costs. I mean, right now, yeah. If you want a job, it's great to get a job because you're going to get a good paying job. But what's the point of a $14 an hour? I make $16. What's the point of making $16 when I can't afford a 50-hour work week or a 56-hour work week? Still doesn't cover the bills and allow me to put gas on the table to make it for the next week, gas in the truck to make it through the next week because everything's went up. Factories can't afford to keep raising their prices, raising their pay to match the inflation. But yet we want to send billions of dollars to Ukraine. Makes no sense.
And, you know, I've asked this question to a lot of people in my circle. How many of my friends, and I would hazard to guess many people out there, actually know the historical significance of Ukraine and Kiev more in specific? And most people don't understand the historical significance of it.
No, they don't.
I gotta change headphones. This popping in my ear is driving me batty. I've tried changing batteries and it did not work. So I will be right back.
And here's the thing, you know, I don't care what's going on, really care what's going on over there, but I also look at it this way. The biggest red flag to everybody should have been that NATO said no to Ukraine already. You know, I don't agree with what Putin does, but it's also none of my damn business. As long as it's not affecting us. Unfortunately, what he's done inadvertently has infected us, but it wasn't his doing. It was our president and our Congress doing by putting their bullshit sanctions. That didn't work. Oh yeah, look at that. Make AOC bartend again. Vote for Tim Forte for Congress, or Tina Forte for Congress. That's a great slogan. I mean, like I said. But it's gotten to that point where, you know, where do you draw the line? We can't keep letting rich people dictate what we know is needed for this country. You know, I hear people praise Elon Musk. Oh, Elon Musk, what have you done for Flint, Michigan? Elon Musk, why do you have some of your Tesla factories over in China? it is what it is. You got to call it for what you see it. He's about his money. And that's the truth. To us everyday people, we're struggling to get by. So no, I cannot look towards these people for any type of help because they're not helping. Actions speak louder than words. So like I said, subtle lips will say anything. Anybody remember about 6-7 years ago where Elon Musk promised to help out Flint, Michigan on Twitter? Somebody actually messaged him, a random person from Flint, Michigan, and he promised to help them. And he helped Flint, Michigan. I mean, yes, he has factories here in the United States. There could be one more in a state that needs it. Right now, he'd shut down the one in China. Will he? No. Actions speak louder than words. I find this interesting. I think I got Twitter. Yeah, I hear you knocking.
Oh, I was something popped on my scanner.
But I think Twitter just nailed me.
For what?
I cannot find your retweet of my video podcast or my link of the video podcast on my Twitter feed.
I'll tell you in a minute. I'm going to Twitter right now. I see it.
Yeah, it's not in my feed. I got another window open where I just happened to have it on there. Was able just to retweet it, but it's not in my actual. If I go to my my profile page and scroll down to my tweets, it's not there.
I see it.
Interesting. All right.
I see it up there twice, actually.
No, I just retweeted it from YouTube, which normally you can't do if it's already there. Either, never mind. I don't really care. Wouldn't be the first time I've been shadow banned on Twitter. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know actually that's something. I haven't talked about in a while. It's censorship on Twitter. But anyway, we've seen it happening. It's been picking back up. I actually went to share something on Facebook to my group, and it said I couldn't share this to my page because of the content. Which, nothing new there.
Well, what I found very interesting is even after Elon Musk, speaking of Musk, bought up the majority shares available of Twitter.
Well, not the majority. He can go up. Twitter already said they will not allow him to buy no more than 50 or 14%.
Well, he bought the available shares,
right?
Up that were out there that were open to the public. He bought and even still, and still allowed him to be on the board.
Well, they didn't have a choice on that because he's top shareholder.
What I found interesting was that Twitter still came out and openly stated that the former president was still going to be banned for life.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's just one person on the board. He might have the most sharehold. He might have right now hold the most shares, but he's still got. There's still other members of that board. So I
Right.
mean, he's just one vote, one voice, one vote.
Right, but I just found that very interesting. But there's been um other things that I find very interesting that is going on in the Twitter sphere. And you know, one of the most interesting things, and I don't hold a lot of stake in Twitter or this one person, but how can one person, every time I go on Twitter and I just look to see who's trending, how can one person, one YouTuber, and you know who I'm going to say, so I don't even have to say his name, how can that one person be trending almost every single day? You know who I'm talking about.
TP.
Yep. How can that one person be trending every fucking day?
I mean, he's got a. I mean, let's keep it real. He's got a hell of an audience.
Uh, Even besides that, how can that one person, even the fact that he's been swatted now like 10 times,
8 times. He just got swatted last week for the 8th time.
9 now, it's either 9 or 10.
No, it's 8. Yeah, he got swatted last week for the 8th time, and well, 8 plus 1 bomb. Right.
I really would hate to be that circle that is doing that, because I think it's all coming out of one general area.
I believe so, but I'm not.
I would hate.
But actually, I kind of did want to talk about this because
this happens, and this is scary shit.
It is scary shit, and it's serious shit.
And this happens to the mega channels, and this is now happening to the ultra small channels now too.
Oh yeah, I'm very much aware of it. That's why I don't give out location.
OPSEC is a thing, and just for those people who want to be stupid, OPSEC is a thing.
But I think the biggest issue there is it's more damaging than I think people are talking about, because I don't even know if Tim Pool realizes how damaging this is to him, because this has now become a community thing, his community where he lives at, and the police and that community is going to get tired of it. They're going to get tired of coming to his door. So basically, what these people are essentially doing, they're basically making Tim Pool become a nuisance to his community.
Well, it's more than that, because there is a phenomenal amount of very affluent people that are the movers, because he's not that far from DC.
Very true. He's basically an hour away, from my understanding.
Yeah, and there's a lot of.
But also, I'm pretty sure I know the area he's in.
I know exactly where he's at.
And people aren't familiar with that area. That's all, even through West Virginia, into Maryland, but specifically West Virginia, that is not a good area. I wouldn't want to live there.
Well,
because it's you name your ABC branch, and they've got facility out there. We've got
Well,
military facilities out there all the way into those mountains.
it's not just that, but now you have all of the people that are there. Every single person that's there is now licensed to carry, and they do. Um, Even going out to the chicken coop and all that other shit. Um, and now they have armed security there as well. Um, and then there's all those neighbors, all those people that live in the area. They they're getting to the point that um the all of the ABCs are involved in this, and they're also pressing charges for this shit too because
Well, yeah, because it affects. I mean,
that these
those people don't.
people.
I grew up. I know I had the privilege of living in North Carolina, and I've been kind of. I've been in between Boone and Wilkesboro. We'll put it that way, in the mountains. And you know how many rich people live there? How
Oh,
many
these are
rich
very
people have
affluent
property
people.
and houses there? I mean, I'm not even talking about going up to Blowing Rock, where all the rich live. I mean, we have professional hockey players that live there that send their kids to schools and boom, we have a basically might as well call it an Ivy League school. It's not an Ivy League, but by name, but you have App State where most of the rich people, I mean, Joe Gibbs' sons went there. I can name a bunch of people that's, name big names that went go there. People that I've personally met. And they don't like it when you get somebody in there and this stuff happens because it decreases their property values. It's bringing unwanted attention to the area where they want to, they go out to these areas to get out of public, to be left alone because they're so high celebrities. And there's a serious issue here. And I don't know if Tim Pool's really thought about this, how much damage this is going to cause him because, they might get to a point where we want you gone. You're causing, you're a public nuisance. And he's not. He has a right to, just like every one of us, to live where we want and do what we want on our own property. But there's the underside danger there that no one wants to talk about because either they haven't thought about it or they don't want to voice it. I'm voicing it because I want people to understand that we have these people out there, and I'm sure if enough resources is dumped into this and real proper investigation is done, we'll find that the instigator of this, probably if you follow the money, there's probably some political backing behind it too.
Oh, it's 100%. 100%.
Because Tim Pool's been, having people on that's against the status quo. He's been talking about mainstream stuff. He's out there and everybody knows it. He's the one they want to silence. They got rid of Alex Jones, which Alex Jones I've been very vocal on this one. He's nothing but a CIA plant. If you look at anybody who had any affiliation with him, bad shit's happened to him after they left. I've never been a fan on that aspect, but look at Tim Pool. He's friends there, friends with Rogan. He's basically friends with anybody and everybody. And a lot of people tune in. We've had politicians go on his show. We've had some great minds go on his show. It's been some great conversations in the last year or so it's happened on his podcast. He's become real influential. He's also a voice that, one side sees it a threat and needs to silence. Okay, either if this don't work by sending and having this keep going on, we're just going to ruin your name within your community and then we'll let the community force you out. And that's something, we should be talking about. We shouldn't allow to happen. And, I don't care what some of the politicians have been on his show. They'll turn their back in a heartbeat on him.
Oh yeah.
I don't trust the politicians at all. A set of lips will say anything. And right now, they've spoken volumes. Actions speak louder than words. What have they done? I don't want to see what's happening to him to happen to anybody.
And it shouldn't, by decree of the Constitution. But I also, and I've been very hesitant to talk about this, but at the same time, if people don't start speaking up and defending him,
right, you're next, basically. It's the next person on the totem pole is next, whoever that may be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then eventually it's going to be the low man on the totem pole, isn't it? I've opened my mouth a few times and got myself in trouble. Had those fucking black SUVs follow me around, unwanted attention for some of the shit I've said.
But
I've had to deal with my fair share of incidents, and I'm a fucking small channel.
Yeah, those black SUVs don't like me.
No, I think I made my point with the last one, but
hey,
I've not been on as much, though. I haven't had enough time to insert foot in the mouth.
I'll be right back. I gotta run to the office. I'll be right back.
I'm sure actually that pissed them off a bunch of times. Every time I open my mouth, I piss somebody off.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
All right, but yeah, it's an important issue that's going on because I look at it this way. It takes one idiot, or it only takes me saying something, or making a group of individuals think I have some influence, and I'm that next person on the totem pole, regardless of the size of my channel or the size of my reach. That's the one thing. When I created this channel, the first thing, I sat down with a few people and talked about it when I was going to create this channel. We had our ideas, we had our goals, but the one thing we all agreed on: this channel will never be a channel to influence another person's thoughts. We want good conversation. We want things that make people question. Just a few of us, we got knowledge. We've been taught. We know how to use our words. We know how to use our pitch and frequency and vibrations. We know how dangerous we are. And we never want that to be reflected in the things we say on this channel. We want it to be educational. We want it to be, I don't know how entertaining my topics are. I don't think they're probably that entertaining, but we want it to be fun. We want it to strike questions, make you think and question things. We want you to engage in conversations with others on things you may hear. And the sole purpose is, if each time I open my mouth on a video, it's not meant for any of you. It's meant for the person that finds it. That's why I love Jaffe to death. Love Pirate Radio Podcast, World Pirate Radio Podcast. I learned a lot when I was co-hosting with them. Don't got nothing ill to ever say about them. But I can never get it through Jaffe's head that I don't want to advertise my channel. That's not what I'm about. I get in this argument with people that know me, that see the artwork that we have. Why don't you make t-shirts? No, because the day I start doing that, the day I start, going to Cafe Press or whatever, Teespring, and allow that to be put on here and advertised here, is the day they can control what I say. Oh, we're going to take that away from you, or we're going to censor you, take your video down because you're advertising sort of point. I'm not advertiser friendly, never want to be.
Amen.
I'm not gonna put a shirt unless I buy this shit, which dude, all right, so I wish I could afford to buy the equipment to make my own shirts and stuff. Because man, you just don't know. I know plenty of artists, and me myself as an artist. That's what I went to college for. Man, we could make some amazing stuff, but I don't. I don't. I can't afford to invest in it because for the longest I had no debt. I had no credit. Zero. I didn't have bad credit. I didn't have good credit. I had zero. I mean, I had to get my Suburban. I had to get my dad to co-sign because I had no credit. I built some credit up, which requires you to get in debt. I hate being in debt. I hate owing anybody anything because that gives them control over me. Not really. Fuck you. Come pick it up. I don't care. But I'm also the characters. I pay my debts. As much as I hate getting loans, like I made an investment last year. Got another, man. Between Suburban paid off next year, so. But I invested in my parents' house, putting a metal roof on my house. So, put myself further in debt for that. That was a personal investment for me. That's a future investment later down the road. That place would be mine, and it needed it. It needed it needs a bunch of stuff. That was a major thing it needed. Now I got a lifetime warranty on that roof. I mean, the warranty states, hand of God, literally. You know what's so beautiful? I have kids. I decided to give it to one of my kids. That insurance on that roof goes to my whoever I give that house to, property to. 2 generations worth of insurance is covered. Great investment. Yes, I paid a little bit more than I should have, more than I wanted to, but I made a lifetime investment. And at my age, it's a great time to do it. Thinking of the future down the road. You know, the way things are going, man, there's a bill that I really can't afford right now. But it's worth it in the long run. We have to make these decisions. But, say I find myself in a situation that Tim Pool's been in. Tell you what, my neighbors aren't going to appreciate that. Tell you what, I know the sheriff's department ain't going to appreciate that. So basically, if that shit starts happening to me, I can become a pariah. We can't allow that to happen. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Has a right to say what they want. That needs to be protected above all things. That's why we've always been hard against censorship. Now we got another form of censorship going on.
And just you wait and see. If they get a confirmed H5N1 bird to person case in the United States, they're not gonna hesitate to try and muzzle us and lock us down again.
Oh no, it's been effective once. Oh no, that should never ever leave anybody's mind.
Don't hesitate. When you see that video that I sent you, once that happens, and they have already stated that they are going to try to utilize the state-to-state passports.
Oh yeah.
They're going to try and use it this next time.
It's just like before I got cut off on my daily commute. Anybody question why all these states all of a sudden are going constitutional carry? What do they foresee that we have not talked about? Why now? After all these decades century. Why now? Why all of a sudden this big push, and it's pretty much, well, red states. I don't want to do the label game, but it's what it is. They're doing these constitutional hearings. We haven't talked about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. What are they foreseeing or preparing people for? No, we've talked about it. Everybody's talked about it here, but even the mainstream lame-ass media has talked about it. The big CW word. I firmly believe that it should be constituted. We don't even need states to make these laws. It's clearly defined in the Constitution. States just need to be made and forced to uphold the Constitution. This should never be a debate. Many things should not be a debate. Our Constitution was common sense. It should be common sense today. But yet, here we are. And we've seen this big insurgence of the constitutional carry right after the COVID, after the lockdowns, after the shit we started seeing happening in New York and other states similar. How they were going after kids in restaurants who wouldn't wear a mask or didn't have vaccines. Nope, enough's enough. And we're not going down that road.
It's weird.
I'm not going back down that road because there's plenty of blame to be brought around on that one. People, like I said, if you're going to stand by and watch, not do anything, or if you're going to stand by and adhere to a unconstitutional order, and you're going to do it when you can take a stand, something bugs me. I want to finish this, then I'll let you talk. One thing that bugs me and bothers me the most that Tim Pool says. And you know what the worst part, why it bothers me so much? Because he's kind of right. And I got to take a page out of my founding fathers. John Rutledge. What did he do when he was told that you need to abandon this fort? He said, fuck you. They can't take this fort. We're not abandoning it. Even though he was ordered to abandon it. And they held that fort. Why? Because they knew what the fort was made out of. They knew the cannonballs couldn't penetrate the wood. And they held the fort. The British never took that fort. Yes, he was a stubborn, rebellious old man. Alcoholic, whatever. Was he perfect? No, but he took stances. He took a stance that cost him his nomination to the Supreme Court. So yes, I get where Tim Pool says, I don't. If you can't take a stance, you're not willing. Well, you're gonna lose your job. I like to be able to walk a mile in everybody's shoes. And I get it. Not everybody can afford to take that stance, but it comes to a point where we have to. We got to be willing to take that stance, even at the cost of our jobs, even at the cost of the community hating us. Well, that just tells us we're in the wrong community and need to get out of there. We allow too many people to have control over our lives. Right now, you can go pretty much, it's like the 90s. You can go anywhere and get a job, and more likely you're going to get paid more than what you were at, where you were last at. So yes, now you can afford to take that stance. No, I get it. No, you can't because, man, I can't afford the food as is. I can't afford to put gas in. I can't afford to be out 2 weeks without a paycheck while I wait 2 weeks to get a new paycheck from the new place I got a job at. It's a 50-50 card. It makes you torn. But I tell you what, if everybody get on board and do it and take that stance and say, fuck you, we've had enough. We ain't doing it. We're not letting you get away with it. We're going on strike. Oh, wait, I got sick days, but I'm sick. I don't agree with your policy. Everybody else that gets together, we're going taking their days off. All at the same time we're sick. There's the ways to do it without quitting your job or getting fired. You need to start thinking. Or you just got to take that stance. Bite the bullet. I hate it when he says it because, I'm human. I do have emotions. I do care. I do get it. Some people can't afford it. And you know what? To those, this is to all you fucking people that claim to be patriots out there. If you are a true fucking patriot, you're true to what you stand in, and you say your actions speak louder than your words, then it's our due diligence to be there for our fellow brothers and sisters who can't. And that's what I would say to Tim Pool on that. Now, yeah, I agree with you. I also disagree with you. It's you're the voice. You're telling people, then take a stand and be there for your brothers and sisters who can't afford it, because that is your due diligence as a patriot, as a United States citizen, as an American, to be there for your brothers and sisters when they can't. Don't tell them that they need to quit their job or get fired because haven't been in their shoes. You don't know what it's like. You don't have kids. That's the part of you. I agree with him. He's right, but he's also wrong. How do you go about that? Well, I'll tell you how you go about that. It's our due diligence to stand up for those that can't. Sorry about that, guys. Every hour we're going to get disconnected. As long as I'm quick enough to reconnect and sober enough to reconnect, we'll be good. But, that's why I've always loved about Tim Pool, because I don't always agree with him. Well, actually, the reason I started following because I didn't agree with him at first. And, he's changed over the years. There's still things he talks about that I don't agree with. It's important to have those things in our lives, opposition. Things that make us question things. And I'm torn on this aspect, but I also know what our founding fathers meant. There was people that couldn't stand up and fight, and they did it for them. They set the precedents for us. There's people out there who cannot afford to lose their job right now. It's our jobs to be able to stand up for them and be their voice. So, Tim Pool, you're wrong on that note. I've had to get that off my chest for a while, because I don't like being torn on a situation, especially where I agree with him and disagree. But I know, I got my own history. I got my own legacy and family history and legacy. I know what they did. I know what true patriots do. I know what our Constitution means. I know what our Pledge of Allegiance stands for. I know what it means to be an American. It means to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. No, those people aren't wrong. There's more than enough of us that can. To those that can and don't do it, fuck you. You coward ass bitches. Grow a backbone. Practice what you preach. Don't claim to be a patriot. You can't do that. Don't claim to be anything supportive to this country when you can't do that, because you're no better than the ones that have put their foot on all of our necks to begin with. You can go ahead now.
What aggravates me, and probably more so than anything, is how blindly a lot of these people, patriots, survivalists, preppers, call it whatever buzzword it fucking is. It's a fucking label. And patriots,
many of these people out there use as a popularity contest to stoke their fucking ego.
Call it what it is. I'm old school because I'm old. And because of where I live, you know, what aggravates me is all this constitutional carry really is it's a back door to finding out who's carrying, what they're carrying, and too many people are fucking blind to really what is actually going on. Is this backdoor registration in the loophole because I got stopped last week again. Shocker there. And rather than the officer coming up and saying, license, registration, proof of insurance, he's like, "What do you care? Are there any weapons on board?" Um, and I asked him straight away. I says, "Is your weapons? What weapons are you carrying, and are they loaded?" Um, and his response was, "They're squad ready." And I said, "Sir, are your weapons loaded?" And he again retorted, "They're squad ready." I said, "Sir, you're not answering my question." I said, "This is a yes or no answer, not a squad ready. Are they loaded? Yes or no?" "Well, they're squad ready." I says, that's not answering the question yes or no. And he's like, "Well, I guess they're loaded. I haven't looked." I says, "This is a yes no conversation. Is your sidearm loaded? Yes or no? Is there one in the chamber? Yes or no?"
Wait, isn't his due diligence before he even starts
They're,
his
they're
steps
supposed
foot in his cop car to check everything to make sure everything is loaded properly, secured?
they're supposed to. They're supposed to do a complete walk around, but most of the time they don't. Usually at the beginning of the shift they do, or at the beginning of the day they do, but they don't. They just hop in it and go because uh, we only have I think it's five um, primary, and then the undercovers. Those squads go home with the lieutenants and the chief and the detective. Those squads are those don't get used by anybody else, so those don't get checked as often as they should. I don't believe, but the marked units, those you I don't believe those get checked, but maybe once a day. So I highly doubt that those get the once per shift checking that they should. But it was rather interesting, and I had to banter with this officer, and he I don't think he appreciated this. And I says, and furthermore, I says, just because Wisconsin is getting ready to uh, go constitutional carry in this legislative session, I says, you're violating my constitutional right, because any answer that I would give you would then be give you a right to search my vehicle any answer I give without my attorney present. So I refuse to answer that question at either way. So no, I'm not going to answer that question. And your idea of weapon versus mine, it is uh, very jaded. I says, whether I show you a lollipop or a 6-inch knife, um, it is subjective at best. I says, it's not that I could show you a knife and a lollipop, and it's the presentation of such that would differentiate a weapon from a tool. And he's like, never thought of this. And I had to turn this, flip it around. And I says, you really have to look at how something is displayed as is it a tool or a weapon? And he's like, hmm. I says, "Sir, how long have you been an officer?" And he's like, 15 years. I said, you seriously need to go back to the academy and take a look at what is a weapon and what is a tool.
Well, I mean, truthfully,
And,
they're my
and
grandmother.
I
We don't
said,
need to educate people on that process.
and I says, if you can't differentiate what is a tool and what is a weapon, I says, there's no hope for you, sir. I says, at least not out here.
I
said,
mean, right now, anything in arm's reach of me is a weapon or a tool. My voice is a weapon or a tool. It's just a matter of how we choose the intent that we put in using it. But literally anything. If it did, 90% of everybody that listens to this, anything in your arm's reach can be considered a tool or a weapon if you know how to properly use it.
All right. Oh shoot! It didn't work, did it?
I don't know.
There. Now it should be working. It's just taking YouTube a little bit more time to work. There we go.
Yeah, it
all
takes
right.
YouTube a little bit.
All right. Is that a weapon or a tool?
Both.
That is actually a legit 1918 trench knife. I know you can't see the 1918 stamped in it, but it actually is stamped in it. And it's brass, but because I work in the night a lot, I don't like a lot of flash. So I spray painted it black. I know. Why would I ruin a genuine 1918 trench knife to...
Actually, you wouldn't, because most of them did it too.
Yep.
Why? Because shiny draws attention. To get you shot.
Exactly. And
they'll doll them up.
Yep.
Paint them, grease them, whatever it takes to take that shine away.
Yep. And I've used this for a little bit of everything. And that's just in my office, within arm's reach.
Honestly, that's why, when it comes to like guns and handguns, I do not like anything that's silver or shiny. I want it black.
Yep.
I want it black or brown.
Camo.
Camo or whatever. Anything that's not shiny.
Yep. And, it's...
Most of my knives are the same way. They are not shiny. The blade might be, just because I don't feel like getting some vinegar and boiling the blades in vinegar to tarnish the blade.
But it's a matter of, and I don't, there's a lot of reasons why I don't use my camera anymore, folks, just for OPSEC and security reasons. But there's a phenomenal amount of resources. You could throw a pair of AA batteries in a sock and tie it to a few things in the woods, and you have dinner in a couple of hours if you know what you're doing. I'm not gonna, because we're on the tube, I can't tell you how to do it.
Just MacGyver it.
Yeah, there you go. And yes, that was actually done on MacGyver.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Man, it's been forever since I watched it. I used to love that show.
He actually used D-cell batteries in that episode. Not AA, but if you use a strong enough um, piece of fish line and a uh, flexible enough tree, um, and I'm not going to tell you what test pound fish line to use, but if you use the appropriate um, tensile strength that you think you're going to need, anything is possible. I'm not going to tell, I cannot give you um, the specs on it. You're going to have to look that shit up yourself out there, but it's out there.
Science experiment. Oh, never mind.
But, it is what it is. Um, all things are possible if you look it up.
And that's the people we talk about. It's like we talked about shit's going on with Temple. That's a weapon. What they're doing to him, they're basically using a weapon, basically trying to turn the community, the police, and everything against him, or hopes that the cops come in there, and it's not cool.
One of the first times that they got swatted, they went in with their MP5s and ARs while he was live.
Mm-hmm.
So, and all it would have taken is for Tim to move wrong, and
any of them to move wrong,
and somebody could have gotten popped. So for those people who don't think that cops walk around with and those walls are not that fucking thick. Think there was just an incident a few months ago out in Hollywood that a cop shot his AR, and his AR went through a dressing room wall, and a 14-year-old kid got killed in a dressing room. And so for those people who don't think that shit can't go bad quick, trust me, it can.
Oh yeah, especially situations like that, And I do hope that they eventually catch who's doing it.
Oh, they have the feds are on it.
But in my personal opinion, they're taking too long now. Now they got to investigate. Okay, we got copycats doing it. I think it's, like I said, I think it's more than that. But that's not my department. It's just the bottom line. You know what the biggest weapon in this world is? Us.
Yep. And
free thinkers, people that question things, think for themselves, and don't take everything at face granted. We are the biggest. In fact, the Catholic Church coined terms for it: heretic, heathen, and pagan. If you study root origins of words and find out where they were used, first created, you come to find out it meant common folk, free thinkers. We've always been the enemy because we question everything. We'll talk about anything and everything, whether we're right or wrong. It's our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
To stir conversation, stir intellectual thought. But yet, if we're thinking for ourselves and we're questioning things, we are the enemy. I'll admit, Alex Jones did get one thing right. There's a war on for your mind.
Oh, yeah.
They want to control it. They want to control your speech. They want to control what you can and can't do. They don't want you thinking for yourselves. They don't want you questioning the fact that we sent billions of dollars to Ukraine, who's not an allied country, who's not a NATO country. They didn't want to talk about, Hunter Biden's laptop that implements Hunter and Joe Biden through shared bank accounts to Kiev, Ukraine, China. Oh no, that was all hearsay, conspiracy lies. Oh no, now it's true. Give me a fucking break. Anybody in the right mind would question anything. And right now, Congress should be questioning our very own president for the fact that he should not be making policy decisions when it comes to Ukraine matters, because he might be implemented in things until there's a trial, until things are brought to evidence. He should not have no say what goes over there. In fact, there should be a hearing going on right now in Congress on our president, an investigation, but there's not. And I don't hear no Republicans calling for it, which makes them just as guilty as the Democrats. Harsh, but let's be free thinkers. Let's think for ourselves. Let's question things. If that was me or you, oh boy. One, we want to be walking free right now. There'd be an immediate investigation. Our asses would be set in either a jail or a federal jail, with no due diligence, as we've seen from people from January 6th, the so-called insurrection, my bad. Too much alcohol. Not really, but and as we've seen, we had a judge rule just last week on that. Cops let them in. Not guilty. One, not guilty anyway, because that's our house, Congress. That's we the people's property. They're there to represent us. We have every right. They've changed laws over the years to keep us out. It's the reason why that rotunda has chairs and seats all around it. That was meant for the people to come in and observe and watch to make sure that the people that are supposed to be representing them are doing their jobs. It is supposed to have an open door to we the people. So therefore, we can never, ever be considered insurrectionists for going into our building. But hey, we have dictators, we have corruption, we have create your label for it, it applies. They don't want you in there. They don't want you seeing what they do. In fact, if they had their way, they'd probably take down government.org so you couldn't see how they vote. But they have the ways around it. They'll just make it so you don't have time to do it. Because we're pretty much back to where we were. Got to have 2 jobs again. And you're still not going to get by. And that's where many people are going. I know a bunch of people want to become weekend warriors, working a full-time job during the weekend, working 12-hour days or 12-hour nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a 40-hour check. Just to maybe get by or to afford to put gas in their tank, put a little bit of food, and pay their bills, and they're still not getting by. Now, there comes a point where we've got to say enough's enough. There comes a point where we got to start talking about these issues. Fuck what's going over on Ukraine and Russia. Need to bring the focus back to here. We the people, our country. Our country has so many things that it needs right now more than giving aid to another country that we're not allied with. We got problems on our border. We've got the bird flu in a couple states killing off our chickens. We had a thing of bad cows disease. We've got prices going through the roof, and nobody's got an answer for it to bring it back down. We're too busy relying on our politicians who don't give a flying fuck about us. The only thing they care about us is our votes. Which really don't matter because they got corporations to back, to bring corporations to put smear campaign after smear campaign, or basically say, oh, who are you? No, you're not going to have a seat. You can't be a part of this debate. You don't have enough percentage of the people, as we've seen happen a few times. It's happened to Ron Paul a couple times, where you don't got enough people. But sure as shit, they let Kamala Harris take part in the debates when she didn't. She had less than what Ron Paul had back in the day. But she was freely to be part of the debates. See, what's good for the goose is good for the gander too. And it should apply the same. Some of those people should have never been able to take part of the debates, but no. It goes back to the label, we're Democrats, so it doesn't apply. CNN's hosting this, so we're not going to follow those rules unless it's the other party. No. Got to call a spade for a spade. And people need to start waking up to those things, understanding this has happened, not once, repeatedly. Now, they say we're going to have a town hall meeting, but it can only be aired on CNN or MSNBC. Anybody else airs this, you'll get censored, you get your channel taken down, you'll get a strike, you'll get removed. No. That's, when it comes to our elections, our debates like that, that's public information. No corporation or company can control that or dictate that. Everybody has a right to show it, to talk about it, to view it, to share it. But these corporations come around and say, no, you can't. It's our platform. You don't have a right. Technically, they are right. It is their platform. They make the rules. As George Carlin so quietly quoted and pointed out, guess what? It's their party and we're not invited.
And we wasn't invited to the motherfucking club either.
Nope. Cool. Guess what? We can create our own clubs.
I like the club I'm in.
We can take stances when it needs to be. We can stand up for our fellow brothers and sisters when we have to, when we need to. We can start finding people that actually do care. There's some rich people out there. Don't want to throw all the rich people under the bus. There's some rich people out there that started out exactly where we were and made it. And they still care. They're not like all the rest. And that's, sometimes we forget about that when we get on our little rants and rampages about these things. They're not all bad. It goes back to the saying, one bad apple don't ruin. Can't blame everybody else. Unfortunately, when it comes to the rich and the elite, we have a bunch of bad apples. But there's still good apples out there that are about the right thing. We do got to acknowledge that. Can't put them all in the same category. But I think it's enough is enough when it comes to politics and electing our elected officials. They have no place there. What have they done for us? Nothing. They made matters worse. They compounded on the problems. They forgot what it's like to be us.
Good point.
It's us that needs to be there. Not them. Damn, I sound like a fucking villain saying that. I feel like I was using proper pronouns. Wait, isn't that racial saying us and them?
Well, you know what? I ain't ever been politically correct, so hell, I don't know.
I mean, in this day and age, does it really matter?
Because
what used to be considered racism, and using certain terms like that, is no longer racism. It's acceptable, and if you don't use it, then you are racist or transphobic or homophobic, or the labels go on and on.
I don't know what PC is anymore
I've never been
because
politically correct.
I don't run a PC. I run a Mac. So when people start talking about being PC, I just tell them I'm a Mac, so I don't have that problem. I don't have to be PC.
I forgot what it's. I don't think I've ever known what it's like to be PC.
I don't know, but I do know that if I don't find food here pretty damn soon, my stomach's gonna be shaking hands with my spine.
Yeah, we're at about 2.5 hour mark. It's a good place to nip it in the bud until next time. Which I don't ask me. I don't know.
We
But
never know.
I'd like to get these Sunday ones back together, but I don't know ever never know when we're gonna be on mandatory overtime. I mean, it's supposed to be for 2 weeks. I don't know. No, I'm not allowed back at work until hopefully tomorrow, and the doctor gives me the okay. But hopefully tomorrow, the doctor will figure out what the hell's going on, causing the side of my face to swell up.
You know, it's kind of like that 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
And Saturdays, I'm usually catching up on getting stuff done because Fridays, I'll just sleep Friday away.
Well, it's safe to assume next week is they're at Bristol.
Oh yeah, that's no go.
So
Maybe a
uh,
Saturday. I don't know. I'm not even gonna say it because it depends how I feel. What's going on? It's just yeah.
when
I'd like
Bristol,
to be the know that hey, we're done with the Sundays for a while. Then I can get back to the Sunday thing. But it's you guys know me by now. It's whenever I feel like coming on. Honestly, I have no set schedule. Even though I was enjoying the Sunday nights a lot, was loving the Saturday ones too. But it's and it's hopefully starts to warm up. No more cold weather. I'm tired of it.
uh, uh,
Which means
right?
I need to get outside as well and do things, fish, hike, camp. Things that don't involve me sitting in a house, or else I'm going to
Oakshade
go
should be
stir crazy more than I already have.
Oakshade should be starting pretty soon.
End of the month. But yeah, no, that's like almost a 3 hour drive now.
Oh fuck!
No, I'm still going to catch the big races. The Memorial, the Oldfield race, and the season finale of the Hill Cross. Still catch those.
But
I'll be camping. I can camp there.
you know, biggest thing is people. You know, if you don't do anything that other you don't get anything else from us, you know, do your own fucking research. Don't take it from me. Um, do your own research.
I don't know. I'm subject to get it wrong. I get a lot of things wrong.
Yeah. There is a link in the chat box. Um, that is a good link. Um, good information. That guy puts out solid information, and he's very sporadic about it, but he puts out solid information. Um, Not fear porn, reality. Check it out. I don't like to promote other people.
Who is it anyway?
It's Christian from Ice Age Farmer.
I'm actually not hip to know.
He's good. He's rock solid.
Of course, here of late, I really haven't followed anybody on YouTube.
I I have started unsubscribing from a lot of people. But he's one that I have been following for over 2 years now, and everything that he's said in the past that would come to pass, he has not missed it. He has been spot on, whether it's been market type stuff, whether it's been um, food related, and most of his stuff is crop related type stuff. Occasionally, he gets into uh, the market shit, um, economic forum type stuff. He's been all over it. He's been spot on.
I got a question for you. Just to veer off topic and end on a different thing than other than politics. Was that a chemtrail in Alaska,
Um,
as they're so claiming? Huh.
I haven't seen the photos,
I've
but
seen the photos, and I honestly can't tell you what it was or isn't or was.
there has been so
I've
much.
heard plenty of theories.
There has been so much intrusion into airspace up there. I can't even begin to count um the sheer volume.
Yeah, I've heard UFO, Elon Musk rocket, Russia, China,
uh
chemtrails, the newest one, which they're trying to confirm.
um we haven't really seen over the last um if there's been anything good about the last nearly 3 years, we really haven't been seeing a huge amount of trails like we were accustomed to seeing. There really hasn't been a high volume of trails like we were accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about pollution. I mean, where's all those so-called green deal talking about airplanes and the chemtrails? I mean, to me, that's should be number one on their list.
But we really have
Just like,
not seen
no, I really haven't seen. I haven't seen a chemtrail in a while, to be honest with you.
a true blue chemtrail. No, we really haven't. Um
Of course, now that we talk about it, we'll see one every day now.
um but it's I don't have a definitive answer. Yes, no, or other.
It's a UFO. It's
Um
unidentified flying object. So we
it,
know
it
otherwise. And I mean it exactly as that terminology. It's unidentified flying object.
and because I haven't been, this is the first time I've actually been in the office in 4 days. So because I've been taking time for me to heal, and in every sense of the word. Um and for those who don't know, I'm usually in the know about things of this nature. That's why I said, you know, there's been so many things that happen up there that to the average person they would think, oh, what do you mean? Airspace breaches? Yeah,
No,
that
it's
that's
DARPA. Just blame it on them.
no, it's we're talking like fast mover type things. That aren't supposed to be going where they're going. And if it was any other president, um, it would be, or it could be construed as grounds for war.
Oh, I mean,
Um,
there was it was a missile. I've heard that one, but
um,
it's just it's one of those things. Hey,
it's one of those things that make you go. Right now, I have to answer it under the guise of things that make you go, hmm.
I
Um,
don't know what the fuck category. And I'm hey, but I tell you what, I know what it's not. Not politics. It's a
well,
distraction.
it's with I can tell you that there is a whole lot of smoke and mirrors going on,
Oh yes.
and
I almost titled the podcast that, but then I remembered. Oh wait, already got one titled that
um,
years ago.
there is there was an actual op nearly 3 decades ago called that, and we are beginning to see a reuse of old names,
Oh yes.
um and as we heard all throughout 2020 and part of 21, oh, we're gonna see a
Not,
dark winter.
not the Dark Winter one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fucking
And
psyop.
I was listening to a speech, and I'm not gonna say by who, but I heard that terminology in a speech again earlier this week. Um, and the vocal inflection of it, and it came right after the news broke about uh the bird flu, the H5N1 had been just 5 minutes before was talked about. So it really made me sit up and take note. Excuse me. Take notice of what they were actually spinning. And there was about 7 or 8 people that spoke in that presser. When you have that many people getting up there and speaking, you really got to pay attention to what is actually being said. Because a lot of things get lost, and a lot of people get lost in what is actually being said. But it's pretty sad. But I got to get twigging here, Drew.
Yep. I'm saying my fucking jaw's killing me right now. The alcohol's not even working anymore.
Yep, good time to bounce. Y'all know where to find me. Twitter, the Mines, um, pretty much. Oh, and YouTube, all the same place. I will have a video coming up, and it might be live. I don't know. Next weekend, most likely, because I have a whole bunch of crazy stuff coming up the next couple of weeks. So it might be a one that I record while I'm on the road. But we'll see. But till then, I will bid you all adieu. Y'all take care. Stack it and pack it till you ain't got a place to do it. And if you have to, put it under put your bed on a sheet of plywood, and if you can afford it, and some 2x10s, and put it under your bed. It's a cheap way to.
No, it's not. It's the price of lumber.
Well, it's almost as cheap as buying a bed frame. Almost.
Almost.
But it's a good way to get your bed up off the floor. But it's something to think about.
Hey, wait. There's a bunch of factories out there that actually want to get rid of their pallets. You can get free pallets, or you can pay about $5 to $10, about $20 for as much as you can carry on a trailer.
Yeah, and you can build a bed frame that way too.
Fuck yeah.
Something to think about, Drew.
Something to think about. That's perfect. The perfect thing to leave you on. Something to think about. Actually, I don't know. I was kind of lecturing tonight, wasn't I?
You know, sometimes there is that lecturing, and I might um be doing something along that line.
But I do hope you guys, and I know it's definitely trying times right now for many of you. Trust me, I know. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm not no rich. Wish I was at times, and at times I'm happy with what I got. You know, I'm actually more happy with what I got than I would ever be probably rich. So, but I hope you guys enjoy. Guys, take time to smell the roses. Tune out. Shit. Turn this off if you're listening. Well, if you made it this part, you're turn it off anyway. But tune out for a bit. You don't have to get caught up in what's going on over in Russia. I mean, yes, we need to pay attention to what's going on here in the United States and whatever, especially with, you know, okay, I think I had too much to drink. Um, what's the term I'm looking for? Begins with a P. Not for prelims, but primaries. There we go. Yep, I've had too much to drink. Apparently not enough because my jaw's killing me, so I'm definitely going to be shutting up here a little bit.
Find the Jaeger.
No, that's not even working. I tried that yesterday. I talked for too long. Actually, no, it's probably the medication wearing off. But tune out, guys. I mean, there's just too much crap going on, and I know many of you guys are stressed. And the last thing you guys want to hear is basically what I talked about tonight. But sometimes I got to vent too, get things off my mind. Obviously, I needed to vent because I'm doing it with a very sore jaw. Doing my best not to show it, but I mean, it's hopefully the weather turns around. I mean, everybody, it's crazy everywhere you're at. I mean, they're getting tornadoes down south. So, I mean, North Carolina got hit with severe weather, thunderstorms, tornadoes to snow. Like I said yesterday, we got rain, sleet, snow. Today it was almost in the 60s. The weather's been crazy. I know it's not helping. I know a lot of people have been sick and stuff because of the up and down changing of the weather. I wish I could blame most of mine on that one, but no, it's not been that. Like I said, I don't know when I'm going to do the next one, but everything I've said tonight, yeah, was me ranting, me saying what been wanting to say for a while that I needed to say. Hopefully, you guys understand. This is all my opinions, my views, my perspective on things, not yours. My job is to make you think and question things. Some of the things I might have said might have been wrong. Don't know. That's on you to formulate your own opinions and views, and that's just that. They're your opinions and your views, not mine. My job is to make you question and think. And for as long as this channel's around, it's going to stay that way. It's not meant to influence. I'm not an influencer. I have my opinions and my views, my ideas, my history that I share with you. Well, sometimes. But in the end, my job is to make you think, make you question things. Question things I say. Probably pissed off a bunch of people talking about tinfoil the way I did. You know what? Don't care. My opinions and my views. But it was something kind of been wanting to talk about something, because I am torn on that subject. But in the end, when it comes down to the end, I've got my history. I've got my family history. And I know where we take a stance on that. So I know what's right and what's wrong there. But that doesn't mean it's right or wrong for you. It does not mean what Tim Pool says is right or wrong. Sure, you have a change of attitude if you had kids. But then again, maybe not. He's made his career. He's made his money. He's invested it wisely. He's created his own dream. He's living his own dream. Where, some of us, we're not that financially set. Doesn't mean we can't be. We should be. We should be willing to take those risks and make those investments. Live our dreams, because that's what the American dream is all about, is living our dreams. Reaching for them. Tim Pool's a good example of that. He's reached for his dreams. He's made the sacrifices to do that. But not everybody can. And I respect that and understand that. In the end, I fucking turn this into a rambling chaotic mind, which does not need to be. So, you guys enjoy. Have a beautiful week. Be safe. Till the next time, I'll see you then. Enjoy.